Hey everyone, welcome back to Film Ranks. Today I'm going to talk about Godzilla x Kong. Um, this is the new Godzilla and Kong movie, and I gotta say, if you were expecting this film to be like Godzilla minus one, or be something insanely good, well, there is a way to put that into, you know, honestly, from a narrative standpoint, I don't think this film is too strong. I'm gonna put that out there. Was the cinematic parts of this film great? Yeah, it was really good. Even the CGI, like I think everything visually looked insanely like it was really good. It was high quality. I think this film was high quality in terms of like spectacle, and getting amazing action, funny sequences. Like this felt like a comedic action adventure type film, and you know, uh, a definite B film, I would say. Um, I think that in terms of spectacle, it's like 100% for me, like A plus. No complaints. I think the fights were really good. I feel like Kong really has stepped up to the plate where he is going against characters that he wouldn't win, um and really like still find a way to like outsmart his opponents and still get help, of course. But there's nothing wrong with that because, again, like, if you've seen the Godzilla versus Kong film, he had to get help in that film as well. And yeah, of course, there's going to be spoilers in this review, so expect that. Um, yeah, Kong, he couldn't defeat Godzilla by himself. He needed this special axe that can, withstand the laser attacks. And it was different in this film because it seems like Godzilla just got him way more powerful. Like, I feel like his screen time wasn't really done justice. Like, I think we need to spend a little bit more time with Godzilla, a little less with Kong. And I think that's where it's kind of hard to put these two films as like two big monsters together because it doesn't feel like the balancing was done too well. And then, of course, humans. And I think that's where um, the film became a B movie because it didn't make a whole ton of sense. Um, and across the board, it was just like, we'll just make it make sense somehow, and people won't really focus on it, but it's kind of like not the case. And I don't know, I'm not too thrilled about the Hollow Earth storyline. Like, I think it would have just made sense if Kong just lived on Skull Island, you know as he was in previous movies, and you can still have these other worldly creatures that appear like aliens and still have a movie, you know? Um, yeah, like it doesn't have to be like prehistoric dinosaurs and trying to make that make sense because it doesn't. It can still be other creatures that mimic that feeling of like dinosaurs of the prehistoric era, and like the creatures from Skull Island, Kong Skull Island. You know, that was like the first Kong movie after the Peter Jackson film, which is also really good. But like I said, like the whole prehistoric dinosaurs and stuff like that, like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense if you're trying to put this film in like modern day context. And then again, I feel like the Hollow Earth it's just kind of nonsensical. Like really, like living below the Earth, like near Earth's core. that's not even like oxygen dense. Like how and why? Because it just looks like, again, like a ripoff from Inception too, where it's like the there's like no real understanding of how that place even exists, honestly, and how's there even a sky, and there are just so many things that I don't like about the Hollow Earth. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I think Kong living in Skull Island would have just been fine, and they can have whatever battle that needed to happen just on Earth, not underneath Earth in the Hollow Earth portion. And the teleportation too. It's like, I think it's just trying to be ridiculously futuristic, and it's hard to buy into it. Um, Needless to say, I think the technology in this film is great. I think it's cool that Kong allows humans to help him, even if he's like missing a tooth or something. But it's a bit comical because even the apes laugh at him, and also the fight scenes, they were not always like super serious, and then you have these moments where you're just laughing. So it's like, this film is just uh kind of like those cheesy old films that you would watch, and it wasn't that you would always watch it to get some amazing cinematic experience, but just to like live a good vibe, like it's just for the vibes, honestly. Like sometimes you just go there to have fun, and this is that kind of movie. This movie was made to have fun with. It wasn't really made, in my opinion, to really tell this elaborate story. um I think these films honestly just have fun in what is possible with like Kong and Godzilla, but I think it becomes more clear that like if the conflict is between King Kong and Godzilla, it's pretty obvious who would win. And if you're a Kong fan, well, I think it's delusional to think that he can beat Godzilla's laser, because obviously it destroys anything at this point. Um, if Godzilla had to fight himself with his own laser, I'm sure it would kill him pretty much instantly. So yeah, I mean, there's really no point in arguing that, honestly. Um, would Kong be able to beat Godzilla with help? Of course he would. I'm sure he would. My only thing is that he himself cannot beat Godzilla. So, if he didn't have like any specific anti-Godzilla weapon, you know, just his with strength and with strength alone, he's just not going to beat Godzilla. Like, it's not. If Godzilla didn't have his laser beam coming out from his mouth, I'm sure he would be able to have a harder time beating Kong for sure. Like, it would be a longer battle, and Kong would have an advantage in beating him with combat. Um, but you still can't underestimate Godzilla either, because he got bodybuilder squatting legs. Like, those things will crush anything that it steps. So I'm pretty sure it would destroy Kong pretty easily if he gets stepped on by them. So yeah, I feel like in almost every way, Godzilla is just more unfairly advantageous at beating mostly all kind of monsters in battle. Like, he is pretty much as the top tier of hierarchy of monsters. You know, if they were to put Godzilla in a mythical monster movie, I think the next one should be was Cthulhu or something like that, because that would be insane. and it would be interesting to see him throw down was something different. That's not in like the canon universe. I like the film, and it didn't need to be something super serious. Like I don't think that every Godzilla movie is intended to be that way. But it's nice when it is serious. It's nice when it can be this dark, unpredictable atmosphere where you're feeling like at every corner of the film there's something like crazy about to happen, even though there's just people talking about how they're gonna plan to defeat Godzilla or something. But you know, this film was just kind of like a family film, if you know what I mean. Like you can have kids watch this film and they won't feel uh like they're gonna get nightmares afterwards, like worrying about Godzilla or something like that, or seeing something too gruesome. It's not a film like that. It's more like, if you were to go see a Transformers film type of movies, is what it felt like. Would I recommend it? Sure, absolutely. This film definitely isn't for people who are not into action films and monster fight films. Like that wouldn't it wouldn't work for you. But I think if you're into action movies as it is, and you know that's your kind of thing, this movie is definitely great. I think that the human aspect of this film, again, it just wasn't as impactful as it could have been. Like the lore made sense when they were explaining the lore behind like the monsters and being in different parts of like the timeline of Earth. Um, but the way they were presented was a bit off because it was mostly having to do with the little girl who wanted to go into the Hollow Earth. And again, it's just the whole Hollow Earth thing to me. Like it doesn't work for me. So that's all I could really say. Thank you for stopping by and check out my other Godzilla film review for Godzilla minus one.